Hi and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Sarah and I want to talk about all the tips I have after going to Oogie Boogie 4 years in a row. So all the tips I have for Oogie Boogie so that it can help you if you are going to Oogie Boogie this year. I just went to opening night of Oogie Boogie a few days ago. What's today? Today's Wednesday. So I went on Sunday. So if you haven't checked out my vlog, that's up on my YouTube, Sarah Satuda, make sure to check that out to see what I did that night. But I also took some time and wrote a bunch of notes down of things I want to cover because I want you to be prepared for Oogie Boogie, whether it's your first time ever going and you just want to plan it out, or if this is your, just want to see some tips that I have for going 2 times each year since 2021. This is my favorite after dark event. I know some people are like, oh, it's always the same thing, and it's like they do some changes, but at the end of the day, it's literally one of the best events. It's so fun. I love Halloween. It's spooky. It's like you feel safe because you're at Disneyland. The vibes are just immaculate. You get to meet characters. There is one thing that I wish they would fix, which is have more food options, but it's okay. The other events, they have a lot of vegetarian options, and this one they don't, but we're okay. We still love the event, we as in myself, but I wanted to talk about a bunch of tips and also go over the map. I have to go actually grab that right now, but I thought it would be only fitting that I had some spooky ears on and I have Nightmare Before Christmas on in the background. If you've seen my previous videos from home and not at the parks, I usually have a different view, but today my jacket, clothing rack, completely collapsed on me. I think I had too many jackets on there and it just gave out. It was like an IKEA clothing rack. So I had to order a new one. So it is, in front of me, it is a mess of jackets. My poor dog Briggs is sitting next to a pile of jackets, but we're going to hopefully get that fixed tonight. So yeah, this is the view. It's my desk with my computer and stuff, but let's start with my notes, and then we'll get into looking at the map, a closer look at the map so you can kind of see what the layout is. So first off, I wanted to talk about when the event is and how long it is. So it is from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on your ticketed night. So if your night is, for example, August 21st, it would be 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then your Oogie Boogie Bash ticket allows you to enter DCA only 3 hours prior. So 3 hours prior to 6 would be 3 p.m. So you can enter the parks without a reservation, without a ticket to DCA, just with your Oogie Boogie Pass for that night if your ticket is for that night. So it gives you an extra 3 hours, which is great. So you can enter at 3, but the event doesn't start till 6 p.m. So usually those 3 hours you can go eat something, go on some rides. If you don't have a ticket for the day, you can just enjoy an extra 3 hours of just DCA generally. So it's a 5-hour event, which is great because a lot of the After Dark events start at 9 till 1 and it's later in the night. I like how this finishes at 11 p.m. So it's not too late and it's at a reasonable time where you're not completely exhausted. And so we talked about how you can enter 3 hours prior. So that's 3 p.m. So when I say you can enter 3 hours prior, you go to DCA and then there's a normal entrance. There's going to be a sign and it's going to say, if you have an Oogie Boogie ticket or it's the special ticketed event, Oogie Boogie, you enter here. So it's special, stalls or whatever, special ways of entering if you have the pass. So you have to follow that direction. You can't just go to the normal, you go to the gates, but it's they have special spots on the entrance where you can enter only for Oogie Boogie because you obviously don't have a ticket to the parks. So yeah, just make sure you read the sign. It'll point you exactly where you need to go to check in. You can't check in earlier than 3 if you don't have a reservation for the day or a ticket and a reservation for the day. So just be aware of that. 3 p.m. on. And so yeah, there's no reservation needed at all. So you don't need to get, if you're a magic key holder, you don't need to get one. I do it sometimes if I want to go early and then I always end up going late and then I have to make sure I check in so I don't get a ding on my pass. And it's important to have your ticket on the Disneyland app. So you can print it out if you want, but it's honestly easier if you just have it on your phone, on your Disneyland app, and then it comes up as a barcode, because they're going to scan that barcode in that line. And then once they scan it, they're going to take a picture of you so that the ticket is now, it belongs to you and your photo. So it's really important that you get the app. It's so much easier to order. Mobile order saves you time, but it's just so much easier to just use the app. They want you to use the app. It's just so much easier. It's ticketless, you know. Paperless for the ticket. You could just show the app and you don't have to print anything out. And then let's see. Let's talk about costume tips. So definitely check out Oogie Boogie's, like, they have a list of like what you're not supposed to wear for costumes. You have to remember this is Disneyland, so it can't be anything super like gory or, you know, things like that. But the one tip I always tell people is in 2021, I dressed up as, I think it was Little Red Riding Hood. My cape was touching the floor, and when I went through security, they had safety pins. They made me pin it so it wasn't dragging on the floor, because that's a safety hazard. So make sure you don't have a cape that's dragging on the floor. I've learned my lesson, because I just wanted to get through smoothly every other year since then, and I haven't had a problem as long as I make sure my cape doesn't touch the floor, because it's obviously like a risk of falling. But they had the pins, which is great. So yeah, definitely check the site if you have any questions on what you can wear. It's Disneyland, so they obviously have, like, they're pretty, like, you know, they have the rules of like what is not you know, Disney appropriate or whatnot. You know, can't be too violent or scary. Let's see. So yeah, so checking in, so you can check in at 3 at the front gates on the line where it says for Oogie Boogie. When I went there, I wanted to go there earlier on Sunday, but it just kind of didn't work out. But when I was checking in, the cast member said, I asked her, I said, oh, like, can you check in inside of DCA? Because at the other After Dark events, like Star Wars, which was in Disneyland, the Star Wars night, Sweethearts Night in Disneyland, so those ones, I always know you can check in earlier inside the park. So I usually get a reservation and I go in the park, and I do it before the time you can start, it's just honestly just to avoid crowds. And it, you know, it's usually at the place in Tomorrowland, or they've done it by Star Wars. It kind of just depends. So I knew that, but I didn't know for Oogie Boogie if they do that. So when I went on Sunday, I asked them, it was already past the time, obviously. I think it was like 5:15. And she said that you can check in earlier before 3 if you have a reservation in the park, or if you have a ticket in the park. But if before 3, inside, she said, by Avengers Campus and Cars Land. So I don't know if that's true. The next Oogie Boogie event I go to, I'm definitely going to try to do that. I'm going in like mid-September, so it's going to be a minute from now. But if you want to try that, you can. I don't know if they're going to have that for real for every one of the after Oogie Boogie events or whatnot. I've never done an early check-in for Oogie Boogie, because I always, like, I'm running late for it. I don't know why. But yeah, just wanted to pass that on in case you're in the parks and you just want to check it out. If you can check in earlier, it's just to avoid crowds. So anyways, so I wanted to note that in case anybody wants to try that. Otherwise, just check in at the front entrance at 3 o'clock on. And these are my, okay, page 2. These are my notes just generally. So don't overdo it prior. I've known people who went and had a day at the parks before Oogie Boogie, and they were destroyed by the time Oogie Boogie started. Because Oogie Boogie, you're walking a lot. It's so hot outside. It's so muggy. You're literally going to be running around trying to get everything done. The last thing you want to do is be exhausted from your full day at the parks. And I understand if you have a ticket for the parks, you still want to obviously use it, but just, like, make sure you prioritize, like, rest and drinking water. Like, super hydrate before, because it's gonna be hot. You're gonna forget to drink your water. It's just, for me, I try not to do much before the Oogie Boogie, because I don't want to make myself tired and not be able to properly enjoy the event, which you obviously paid for it. So just take that in consideration. Don't overdo it prior. Don't make yourself so tired from a full day of Disney, because you're going to be there till 11, unless you feel like you can. I mean, I personally, I can't. I went to Star Wars night after work, and it was brutal. I remember just sitting somewhere like, oh my God, I'm so tired. That's why I chose to go on a Sunday Oogie Boogie, because I could, like, at least rest in the daytime and relax and then go. And yeah, make sure you hydrate, make sure you rest. before going, because you're going to be walking a lot. It takes a while to get through. So on Sunday when I went, when I entered the ramp for Mickey and Friends parking lot, from entering the ramp, it took about 20 minutes to get to the cashier. And then I went and parked, and then it took obviously a minute to, I wanted to use the tram. The line was insane to get through security. So I had to walk. It was so hot. I had to walk I did the walking path to downtown Disney to save time, but then those security lines were long too, but at least it was in the shade. I did the one near the Disneyland Hotel because the other line was pretty busy too. That took about 25 minutes. So it took me about an hour from hitting the ramp of Mickey and Friends to getting to inside the DCA. There was also a line to get inside of DCA, which was about 15 minutes. So it's very time consuming to get in. So if you think you're going to go a certain time, give yourself another hour because you don't want to be rushing. I wish I got there earlier than 5:15, but it was my fault because I just kind of, I did my costume last minute, and I was kind of putting it together like literally right before I went. So I wanted to be there earlier, but I ended up getting there at 5:15. I wish I got there at least at 2. It's fine. My next Oogie Boogie, I'm going to try to be more prepared for that kind of stuff. But just taking consideration, you don't want to stress out, and you don't want to like go and like miss out. Like you want to be able to go there and like have a great time and not stress it out about like, oh my God, I just wasted like this much time. Like if you don't have a ticket to DCA, or if you don't have a magic key, you know, you definitely want to maximize your time there and go at 3. So if it was me, you know, if it takes me usually about 30 minutes to get to Disney from my house, I would add an extra hour to that just in case this happens to you like it happened to me. So I got in at 5:15. So I only had 45 minutes to go look at merch because I like to look at merch before 6 p.m. So I'm not wasting my time of the event looking at merch. But we're going to get to merch later. Let me see. We talked about the ramp. We talked about getting there earlier. Oh, this is the merch part. Shop for merch first, or take the risk and do it right before you leave. So the event finishes at 11. Like for example, Sunday, I looked at the merch at 5:15. I went in there, and if you want to see what the merch looks like, I posted it on my vlog. I also have it on my Instagram as a separate video, and my TikTok. The lifestyle reporter for Instagram. TikTok is the same as YouTube, Sarah Satuda. But I looked at it at 5:15, and it's really, to me, like if I wanted something from Oogie Boogie, I would get it before, because there's always a risk things will sell out. Do I think this year anything will sell out? Not, probably not, but there's always a risk. You know, there's no guarantee it's going to be there at, you know, 10:40, and also a lot of people are grabbing stuff before they leave, so it's going to be busy, chaotic, insane. Because people want to grab stuff before it closes at 11. Because once it's 11, it's like you gotta go home. So just take that into consideration. If it was me, I always purchase my merch before the event starts, before 6, because I don't want to waste any of the 6 to 11 time of the actual Oogie Boogie on merch and stuff. And that brings me to the next point. Locker or no locker. So I know a lot of people who get lockers, because if you obviously buy a bunch of stuff, definitely get a locker. They're not that expensive. Are they like $7 or $10 depending? You can, if you go with someone, you can always like split it or something. Or if you want to bring extra things like a jacket, obviously it's kind of hot, so I mean, I wouldn't need a jacket, but if you need something like that, or if you want to bring like a change of clothes or different shoes or whatnot, like definitely get that. I don't get a locker because I don't think I need it. Like I am fine carrying my stuff and then my candy and stuff. Like I think maybe once or twice I've split it with a friend, but I found it to be kind of useless unless I'm getting a sipper or if I'm buying a lot of merch. Otherwise, I can just stick it in my bag and save those $10. But it's totally up to you. Obviously, if you're a family and you have more things, it's different. But for me, there's not really a use for it. And then take cute pictures in the daytime. I love taking pictures at the parks just for like memory. So it's important to make sure you get some cute photos before you get all sweaty and gross at the event. I took mine at Carthay Circle in the daytime. I ended up, I think, using maybe one of those because later on in the night, I ended up taking more pictures at Headless Horseman, and the vibes were just so cute. But just like make sure to take cute photos if you're with your kids, with your loved ones, or your friends. Like take some pictures to like, you know, commemorate the night. And then this one I have with 3 exclamation points, eat. It's really, really important you eat something before the event starts. So like I said, you know, it starts at 6. anytime before 6, like, eat something. Like, what's your, for me, my tradition when I have time, when I'm at the parks on time, is to go to Craftsman Grill and get the grilled cheese and french fries, the kids dish, with a soda or water. But I always eat that because for me, so I'm vegetarian, so I already know that Oogie Boogie doesn't have any foods for me, and I don't also want to waste time ordering, like, my favorite vegan tacos or whatever during the night when I should be, like, focusing on, like, checking out all the treat trails and doing all the things I want to do, because honestly the 5 hours fly by. So just make sure before you start you eat something, so you at least have the energy, you're full, and you've eaten something that is going to hold you over, because obviously the rest of the night you're eating like candy and stuff. You obviously can pick stuff up, but just like to start your night, it's really important to eat something to get your stomach full, so you can just like have the energy, because it's you're literally running around. Even when, like, me and Najoni on Sunday, we had a really chill vibe, to when we were doing all the trails. It was still really exhausting, and like it was really tiring because the weather was so bad, and we are just like, it was, for me, I didn't go early enough to eat my dinner, so I was starving. And of course, because I am a vegetarian, I didn't order none of the foods. I could have ordered something else at the park, but I didn't really want to. I just was like, I'll just eat the snacks I have. But when I do eat before, like whenever I do any of the After Dark events in Disneyland, I always have a tradition of either going to, oh my God, what's it called? What is that? Galaxy, whatever that place, I forgot. Whatever that restaurant is, I always get the bean wrap with fries, or I go to Red Rose Tavern and I get the wrap or whatever. So I always like try to eat something that's going to fill me up, because I know I'm going to be so tired. And it's also like a great way to kind of set the vibes and like ready to have fun. Or I was like at the Craftsman Grill kids meal. But it's just really important to eat something so you can get your day going on a strong start. And then, so once you're checked, so once you check in at the front, they scan your app with your ticket, they take your picture, you walk in, and then a cast member puts a wristband on your hand, hands you a small treats bag and a guide map. So when you're getting the wristband, it's really important that they put it on and like it's secure on you, because that's your ticket inside. So at like between like 5:50 and 6:30, there's cast members, security, like at every corner, making sure that you have your wristband. So you literally have to lift your arm up and show that you have the wristband, because it's your ticket. Because the guests in DCA have to leave that don't have the wristband, because it's obviously a special ticketed event. So just make sure it doesn't like fall off or anything. Like make sure it's secure on you. One time I think it was like really loose on me and I almost lost it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to lose my wristband, So it's really important that that wristband is like your ticket inside. And it also connects your photos. So at the places where you meet the characters, there's going to be a photo pass person, and they're going to take your pictures. They're going to scan the barcode on your wristband. And if you got plenty of time before, you can do this before, but how to link it to your app is you go to link photos in your app, and then it has like a way to take a picture. So then when you're showing the part where you're taking a picture, you show the barcode, and then that's how it links your photos to that wristband, and it will say like linked. I'm usually like lazy, so I don't do it till the end of the night. Like I pulled it off my hand at the end of the night when I got home, and then I just linked it that way, and it was fine. The pictures came up that I took, but that's how you link the wristband to your app, and so you can see your photos that you take. And it's really like the pictures are great because it's so dark, obviously they have a fancy camera and stuff, so it turns out great. So it's definitely important that you do either before or after. It literally takes 2 seconds to link it. It's not anything crazy. One time, I think it was Star Wars night, or maybe Sweethearts night. Sweethearts night. My barcode didn't work. It wouldn't link. And I asked a cast member, she's like, oh, sometimes that happens, and just let them know, like the photo pass person. So they ended up just scanning my regular, the barcode on my photo section of the Disneyland app. Like there's a part that shows a barcode that the photo pass person can scan, or they'll just give you a card that you can scan later. So if it's not working, just let the cast member know and let the photo pass person know each place you go. It was kind of annoying to keep like telling like, oh, it's not working, but they were also nice about it. I felt bad. Like, I'm sorry. Like I tried. Like It just for some reason wouldn't link. So that's happened to me before. All right, next up. So I have a section called food, which we've already kind of talked about, but let's talk. I have some specific notes about it. So like I said earlier, eat before or plan to eat before 6, and hydrate before. Super, super important to hydrate. Is Southern California in August, September, and even honestly October can get really muggy. There's sometimes some days where it gets kind of cool, but for the most part, it's really muggy, really hot, even at nighttime. So just take that in consideration. You need to be hydrated. Otherwise, you could feel sick or feel ill, or, you know, heat stroke. You just don't know, like heat exhaustion. You just have to really make sure you hydrate, and keep yourself hydrated. And then if you do want to order any of the foods, or if it's not an Oogie Boogie food, just other food, just make sure you mobile order, because you don't really want to waste time waiting in line. I mean, 5 hours is a lot for the event, but it does go, like I said, it goes quickly. So like you don't want to be wasting time in line, like waiting for food. You just want to be able to just go grab it, eat it, and then you can get up in like 10 minutes or whatever, so you can maximize your time. Because, you know, you did pay over $100 for this event. You want to make sure you maximize your time. So just try to use the mobile order in your Disneyland app, because it really does make a difference for timing. And then outfits. So bring a tote for your candy. The bag that they give you, I think I already recycled it. It's really tiny. It's so small. You can either buy a tote from Disneyland, from DCA, like Eliza Co. They have a, what do you call it? A little like Oogie Boogie candy basket. It's honestly too small. Like I had a big tote for my candy that I had over my shoulder, and I made sure the strap is not gonna like dig in my shoulder, because you get a lot of candy and it gets really heavy. So you just make sure you bring an extra tote with you. I usually bring like a purse or a bag, but this time I brought like a separate tote from my candy tote, and I brought my little Shop Ka-Chow pumpkin tote for I put like my wallet, my keys, my water bottle, like an extra shirt in case I was like not comfortable with what I was wearing, like just a change to be more comfy. What else did I bring? I brought some lip liner. I think that's it. I honestly didn't bring much, because I didn't want my shoulder to hurt. And then my other tote was my candy tote, so I was fine carrying two, because it's just easier to have it separate, because your candy tote gets really heavy. Yes, and like I said, bring a reusable water bottle, because you can refill your water in DCA. My all-time favorite water is at Pim's Kitchen. You can ask for a cup as well. Like if you feel like you don't want to bring another bag, and you just don't want to deal with it, like obviously that's totally fine. You can ask for a cup of water at Pim's Kitchen. Their water is cold, and it's yummy for like park water, because there's some places in Disneyland Resort where the water is not good. But Pim has the best water, in my opinion, on the DCA side. If you have a reusable water bottle, they have like 2 machines for like soda and drinks. There's a water button on each of them. There's 2 machines on the left side and 2 on the right. And then the center is where you go in line and you buy stuff. And then obviously the cast members, right there with the counter, you can go up to the counter and say, oh, can I have a cup of water, please? And they'll obviously give you one, or you can just go to the machines and fill up your water bottle. So it's really important to bring a water bottle. I always bring a water bottle. It doesn't matter like, oh my gosh, I'm carrying a tote, this is annoying. Like, I have to have water. As someone who's had a heat stroke, it's no joke. It literally, you're ill for like 5 days. For me, it's not worth it to do it again, because it was so awful when it happened. And then my next tip is comfy shoes. I personally, like, my most comfortable is like Doc Martens. If not Doc Martens, then I will do sneakers. You will never catch me in anything other than those 2 options at an After Dark event, because it is so exhausting. I think I walked 15,000 steps. I could not do that in heels. I tried it once with flats for the Red Riding Hood look. Oh my god, I was dying. My feet were hurting so bad. I was like, never again. I don't care if it makes my outfit less cute. Bring a spare pair, take the pictures, put it in a locker, and put on your sneakers, because it is not worth the pain. You are walking so much that, to me, it's just not worth it to have foot pain for the next week. So make sure your shoes are comfortable. Make sure your costume is comfortable with the heat, because for me, like, it was like 80 something degrees, muggy, so muggy. so hot that my outfit, like, I wasn't hot in my outfit, but it was like uncomfortable because it was kind of tight and stuff. It was like a corset. I don't know if you saw my pictures on Instagram or you watched my vlog, but like after a couple hours I was like, I'm hot, and my hair was getting stuck to me. Like, make sure your outfit is like comfortable to be able to like do stuff and for the 5-hour period that you're there. So definitely take that in consideration, like the temperature of what it's going to be outside. And then the trails, what to do first. So let's pull out the map. So it looks like there's 12 trails, and I think I said in my vlog there's only 2 that don't have characters. Let me just double check. So there's 1, 2, so there's actually 3. There's 3 treat trails that don't have characters, and then there's 9 that do. So there's 12 total, but there's also characters like in different spots, like Meg and Pain and Panic. We're rotating by Grizzly Peak past the Little Mermaid, and then I forgot the name of that character. Chris Pratt voices him. He was at the pier near like where all those arcade games are. So there are other characters like in other spots, and then the Sanderson sisters were moved from Hollywoodland to in front of Pixar Pals, right on the World of Color side, where Ariel, like across from Ariel and Cappuccino Cart, like in that side of the Pixar Pals. They were moved there this year. So there's definitely like, you could just not, like for me, like I didn't have a plan, and me and Najoni just started walking down to see what we could get, like what we could do. But if it was me and I wanted to make sure I did everything, I would probably go and like wait for the Sanderson sisters earlier in the night. You can't technically like line up before 6, but you can kind of hover and see if like you can sort of kind of like line up, but like not, if that makes sense, because you're not really supposed to, but you can just kind of like wait until they said, okay, the line starts, and then you can kind of like obviously respectfully like walk over to the line. But that's usually the most craziest line. I think I met them once since I think they've been at Oogie Boogie for 2 years. And I've only been able to meet them once, and I've gone 2 times each year because the line is so crazy. They cut the line early last year. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but I will definitely make it a point for my second Oogie Boogie to go and meet them. It's just the craziest line. So if you want to meet them, it's, I think it's like Clarabelle, Minnie, and is it Daisy? I think it's been so long since I've actually seen them. But they're the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. They have really cute costumes. There's no treats there. You just take pictures with them. That's probably the longest line. Also, the Kingdom Hearts, I think that's how it's called, line is pretty long for Mickey, and I think Goofy goes there, and I think Donald, I want to say. I did it like 2 years ago, but they have that now by that little like nook by Avengers Campus and Cars Land, that like with the gate. They usually have like the festival spots there. That might be the place where you check in early too, but that line's pretty busy too. So if you want to like see them, make sure you know, maybe do that earlier in the night to get it over with. We did Syndrome first, and the line, he's a new character, so I was like, oh, maybe the line will be bad, but it actually wasn't. It was like 15 minutes. But sometimes they do have like random other characters, so it's important to just kind of keep your eyes peeled to see what other characters are there. It could be different the night you go than the people I saw. It kind of just depends. But if it was me, I would do Sanderson sisters first if I wanted to do that photo op. They're really cute, you know, and I did it once, so that's why I wasn't like in a rush to do it the first night. But I'll probably do it the next night. I talked about that. Oh, Maleficent wasn't that bad. She's not like a new character. She was there a few years ago, maybe. So I remember seeing her before, but they have her, by the waterfall by Grizzly Run. But it was kind of busy. So it just, honestly, it's like, who is more important to you? Do those things first, and then do the other stuff, because you just don't know if you might run out. Like, we didn't have time to do Villains Grove. And it's fine because I've done it before, but usually, like, I like to do it at the end of the night. I was just so tired because the weather was so bad that I didn't feel like walking all that way. So just, if that's like your number one thing to do, like definitely do that first. But Villains Grove line is wild, so you definitely want to like wait in line earlier if that's something important to you. I usually leave it for the end of the night because there's no line, if obviously like you're up for it. But there's no treats there, and there's no villains, but there's no characters, but it's really fun to like, it's like the ambiance and the spookiness. It's one of my favorite parts of Oogie Boogie. So let's see. Oh yeah, and the Maleficent line, I think, was the only line where they the cast members were kind of like, you just have to keep walking a lot. All the other ones pretty much like you can walk really slowly, take pictures, interact a little bit. But like Hades, I think we stood there for a few minutes. But Maleficent in particular, probably because she's pretty popular, the cast members were kind of just like, keep going. So I was like slowly creeping to the right as I was talking to her, because she was talking to me. It was really cool. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, like, see what the cast members are saying, but some places you can stand, like Maleficent I think was the only one where they had to like keep going, you know, like slowly keep going. As long as you're moving your body towards the right, you know, you can just walk slowly. And then parades. So let me see what time they're at so I don't say it wrong. So the Frightfully Fun Parade is on 2 times a night, 7:45 and 10 p.m. So it says begins in Paradise Gardens Park and continues through Disney California Adventure Park to Hollywoodland. So it's 2 times each night. I've done it both times, and I think personally I like to go to the earlier one, because what I usually do is about 30 to 45 minutes before the start of the parade, I go sit in front of Carthay Circle on that little stoop, like they have like the edge of the curb, because if you sit there you don't have to get up and you don't have to stand and watch it. And I usually just kind of get a snack or something, and I go and sit there, and it's like fine waiting for me. Like I don't mind waiting for a little bit just to get a better spot. But it's honestly up to you if you want to see the first or the second one. But yeah, I think I prefer the first one. When I went with Najoni on Sunday, we ended up doing the second one, and with a few minutes before the parade started, I think it started at 10, so like 9:55 we went and stood on Hollywoodland, like on that street, right by I think it was like the Disney Junior building or whatever, and we got a spot. We were just standing. It was a great spot, but it just kind of depends. Like, I personally like to sit near Carthay Circle or Hollywoodland for the parades, because I think you have a better viewing. But you can also, like, do it near the Little Mermaid or anything like that. I just, personally, it's my preference. So definitely, like, you know, if you want to make sure you get a good spot, you got to go there a little bit earlier, wherever you prefer, and wait, maybe with, like, a snack or something. And it's great if you have somebody with you. You can take turns if you need to use the restroom or anything, but you can also refuel during that time, or check out what candy you got, you know. And then I think we made it to the last page. Yes, we did. So my last note is go solo if that's what you want to do. Don't let it stop you. It's obviously really fun to go with friends or family, but if you really want to go and you don't have anyone to go with, it's okay to go solo. I've gone solo many times to actually all of the After Dark events. And it's really, really fun. Nobody's judging you if you feel a certain way about it. You know, I've never felt like lonely or like awkward at these After Dark events by myself. Even Sweethearts Night, which is for like, you know, Valentine's Day, I went by myself and I did not feel like depressed. I didn't feel anxious. I felt great. You know, that's the good thing about these Disney events. I feel like they make you feel so included, even if you're going by yourself. And it's like I said, nobody's judging you. And if that's what you want to do and you want to go to this event, no one's going with you. Like, my sister doesn't want to go with me anymore to these events, which is fine. So then I just go by myself. Or if, you know, a friend wants to go with me, obviously I'll go with them. But it's totally okay to go solo, and it's really fun. I love a good solo Disney day, and a solo After Dark event is super fun too. So yeah, don't let that stop you. If that's like, you're like, oh, I would go if someone would go with me. It's like, just go. Like, just do it. Go solo. There's nothing, nobody's judging you. With that being said, we have our map. Let's see, which way is it? So it's a tiny little map that you open, that you get upon entrance. And so there's a map, and then it says a little section right here, treat trails. And I'm going to turn the camera over so I can show you on my desk everything closer. And it has food and novelty items listed, and it has also, if you're a Magic Key holder, like where you can get that pin. So let me turn the camera over so I can show you this closer up. All right, here's the map. So let's first take a look at the treat trails. So sorry for the reflection. I just want to make sure you can still see it. So, oops, my Hello Kitty just fell down. All right. Let's focus. Okay, there we go. So it says right here, the 12 different treat trails. So the first one is the Buena Vista Street Treat Trail. This is the one that you usually do on your way out. So I would leave this for the end. It says beginning at 9 p.m., but it's the last treat trail that you do. It's literally the center where the trolley tracks are. And they give you, it's like 4 different, I think it's like 4 spots where you can get the treats as you're leaving. So just leave that for the end of the night. This, how do you say it? Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. That's in the Disney Theater, which is next to Animation Academy in Hollywoodland. Oogie Boogie is the building next door, Animation Academy, Hollywoodland. Hades is the Hollywood backlot stage. That's across from Monsters, Hollywoodland. And then number 5 is Judge Doom. They moved him. He used to be in Grizzly Peak. He's now in the Hollywood backlot stage in Hollywoodland. So it's right by Hollywood Lounge. Then we have number 6, Ernesto is Hyperion Theater Courtyard, also Hollywoodland. So most of these things are Hollywoodland. And then we move to Avengers Campus for Agatha. She's in the Ancient Sanctum where, what's that guy? Can't remember his name. He used to have shows there. Was it Doctor Strange? And so you know how they have the wall up for construction for the expansion for Avengers Campus? You can't just walk into Cars Land. You have to actually exit Avengers Campus and go into Cars Land. For trail number 8, there is no villain here. It's just treats. But it's worth going because, like, obviously you want more treats. I mean, I do. The next one is Yokai, and that's in the San Francisco market. So if you do this trail for the Radiator Springs, you just walk past the Cars ride, the Radiator Springs ride. You walk towards San Francisco, and there he is. So he's right there. And then in Pixar Pier, this is near Bing Bongs. This is where Sid used to be, is Syndrome. So he's new to this year. This is the World of Color Treat Trail. There's no characters on this one either. There was no characters at Buena Vista either. So there's no characters there. There's no characters there. And then there's no characters here. This is near Ariel, like on the you see the Pixar Pals Death Wheel, but on the Ariel side. It's near the Sanderson sisters, but further down near, I forgot the name of that ride, but it's like if you're walking towards Paradise Garden Grill and you see Pixar Pals. So yeah, that's the World of Color Treat Trail to just get more treats. And then the Maleficent Treat Trail is Grizzly Peak Trail. It's right where you pass the entrance of the Grizzly Run, and there's that bridge with the waterfall. It's over there. So those are the 12. And then it says right here, if you want allergy-friendly or no sugar added treats, or the ingredients, you can, or special dietary requests, just ask the cast members at every treat trail to assist you. They used to have apples and carrots, and they don't have it anymore, which kind of stinks, but I don't know what those treats are, because I didn't ask. So then, let's go here. Oh, I didn't even see that. I guess because I'm not a Disney Vacation Club member, but you can get a free, oh, I don't know if it's free. You can get an exclusive tote and treat here. But I don't know what that is because I'm not a club member. And then Magic Key Holders. This is the 3-pin set I got at Silly Symphony Swings. You have to show your actual annual pass and you have to be present. So you can't like check it in for somebody else. They have to be there with you. And then if you're doing that dessert party, like that's what it looks like. I did it once. I just didn't think it was worth the price. It's really expensive. But if that's something you're interested in, I think you can get 2 alcoholic beverages with your desserts. And then there's just noting the time for the parade. This is just including info about the Villains Grove. There's no treats and there's no actual characters, but it's beautiful. It's really worth seeing. So that's at that Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. I always try to do this at the end of the night if I'm not too tired. Here is the map. Let's see. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to see, but you can see that there's a lot of them in Hollywood. But yeah, you should definitely use this map if you can't find where like some of the things are. There's signs everywhere at every like place. They make it really easy for you, and obviously you can ask a cast member. But let's see what's on the other side. Oh, it tells you like merch and stuff is inside Eliza Co. It's also in Gone Hollywood and then Seaside Souvenirs. They closed all the other stores when I was there, which I feel like they didn't do that previously. So those were the only stores open, those 3. And then this is just how to make the most of your Disneyland app. And then these are the only foods, the new foods they have, which is not new because I think that the fried chicken was like from last year. But this is the thing I was telling you about. It's not very vegetarian friendly, the Oogie Boogie themed foods. You got loaded buffalo chicken fries, which you can order all these things on the app. So that's what it looks like. And it's at Flo's. I believe those are the ones from last year. And I think Najoni said that they were okay when she had them last year. The Carolina loaded tenders, maybe that's what she had. Whatever she had, she said it was okay at Flo's. Also at Flo's, it looks like that. Maybe that's what it was. So if you like chicken, she tried this, a chili cheese fry. She gave it a 7.5 at Award Wieners. If you check out my vlog, you can see what it looks like. And then the last thing that they have for the event is the ube hot chocolate with vanilla vodka at Cozy Cone. I'm not really a fan of alcohol with like whipped cream, so if that's something that interests you. And then if you're looking to get the Tim Burton sipper, this is the locations of where to find them. And you can mobile order them at, I think, all of them, except obviously not the vending carts. And that's what it looks like. But yeah, so in this case, like, I could have ordered, like, my vegan tacos, you know, instead. But I just didn't eat anything because I was just snacking on my treats. But these are the only themed Oogie Boogie foods. But you can also get, like, a Halloween treat from Trolley Treats, or obviously you get ice cream or the other foods that they have at the other restaurants, but these are just the themed Oogie Boogie ones. Perfect timing because Nightmare Before Christmas finished. And sorry if I was talking really fast. I was just trying to get lots of information in here as much as I could without making this like an hour-long video. I actually don't know how long it is. If you have any more additional questions, just write it in the comment section and I will obviously answer them. But I think the last thing I will say is like to have fun. These events are just meant to be fun, and, you know, do as much as you can, do the things you want to do, prioritize the things you want to do the most. We pretty much did everything but Villains Grove and meeting the Sanderson sisters, doing it casually on Sunday. If you obviously want to be like more like efficient with your time, like totally do that. But like we've done it before, so we were just kind of like casual and like trying to just have a good time. And that's really important, to just have a good time, because these events are meant to be fun. For any Halloween lovers, it's so fun to dress up in a cute costume and like feel like a kid again. Obviously, you can go with your kids too. You can go with your loved ones. You can go solo, but it's just supposed to be fun. So don't forget the message of what Disney wants is like to have fun. And I always have fun. Every single Oogie Boogie event I go to is a blast. So yeah, so those are the tips for the 2025 Oogie Boogie Bash at DCA. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. Sorry that I'm talking a mile a minute. I'm just like trying to get that stuff out. But yeah, make sure to thumbs up and subscribe for my next video, which will be probably a Halloween video because it is Halloween at the parks. But until next time, I'm Sarah, and I will see you again at the happiest place on earth. Bye!